Bienvenue tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, how Saudi Arabia is approaching a cultural crossroads, perhaps best summed up by who is and who is not allowed to drive a car. Yes, women aren't allowed to get behind the wheel unless they have the permission of a man who must be a close relative. But in this, one of the most restrictive societies in the world for women, change is slowly coming. Some women have been able to set up businesses. We'll meet one who's even managed to buck that most conservative of trends. She managed to obtain a divorce and also keep custody of her children, which is against the norm completely in Saudi Arabia, which is a man's world, reinforced, of course, by religion. But some women are starting to find their place, to have their say, and even to flex their muscles, quite literally. Change is coming, though very slowly, as our report by Mark Perlman, George Yazbek will show you.
This is Jeddah, Saudi Arabia's economic capital, dotted with luxury boutiques and skyscrapers. It's also the most liberal city in the country, featuring trendy restaurants and beaches. But here, women aren't allowed to swim. They remain second-class citizens. In the Wahhabi kingdom, women cannot drive or travel without the permission of a guardian, a brother, father, cousin, or even a son. And yet, beneath the surface, things are quietly changing. Here in Jeddah's old city, Abir Bou Suleiman is Saudi Arabia's first female tour guide.
اللي حلو انه كانت الرواشين زي كده زي ما انتم شايفين كان لازم يهتموا بيها لانه هذه عده اجزاء. When I came to the city 7 years ago, I felt that I needed someone to explain for me. I didn't find, so I became the tour guide to explain for the people and to attract them to come and visit this lovely and beautiful place.
At first, her initiative did not go down well with her male peers, but they accepted her in the end.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. كيف حالك؟ Some people, they have a misunderstanding about the Saudi lady, that she's a shy lady sitting in their house. So when they see me, full of energy and passion and love for this area, explaining, giving all the details, they know, Saudi ladies, they know how to go out as well.
In December 2015, Saudi women were granted the right to vote and stand for municipal elections for the first time, a historic poll for the kingdom. It led to the election of 21 women. They make up 1% of the more than 2,000 councillors. In Jeddah, Lama Al Suleiman was one of 2 women elected. But at the city council's very first meeting, things got ugly.
During the first meeting, we had a disagreement at whether the women should be seated at the table with the rest of the members or the women should be segregated. And this took a while, and finally, democratically, the members voted to have the women segregated.
It was decided that the sessions would be held via video link. For someone used to working alongside men on the boards of multinational corporations, it was too much.
I knew that I was not going to be as effective or as useful as I wanted to be if I was not going to be sitting at the table with everybody else. And therefore, I resigned.
The other elected woman, Rasha Hafsi, decided to remain on the council. She weighs her words carefully in front of the camera.
The acceptance of women in different sectors is not the same. I mean, the government opened the doors, but at the same time, the acceptance of society and some stakeholders is not the same in every entity.
Politics aside, the emancipation of Saudi women is largely being fueled by the end of the oil era. The Saudi Vision 2030 plan, launched last year, seeks to increase the share of women in the labor force from 22% to 30% in 12 years. For the first time, women have been appointed to head the stock market and a prominent bank, all within the last few months. Sarah Alayat was an exception when she launched her public relations company almost 20 years ago. Not anymore.
Today, with the prices of oil, the women, the economic empowerment of women, there's a need for that. There's a lot of times you've got families that are now today two-income families. So you cannot have women working only within set segments of industry or the workforce. And we need to open up doors for that. And at the same time, give people a chance. Why is everything just linked to males in the workforce and not allowing women to enter new fields and new frontiers?
Sarah is also a divorced mother who obtained custody of her daughter. A rare feat and a small step forward in a country ranked 141st in the Gender Equality Barometer established each year by the World Economic Forum out of a total of 144 countries. Behind these doors, inside this nondescript apartment building, sits Flag, Fight Like a Girl. It's a women's only boxing club. It feels like California, where Hala Al-Hamrani learned to fight, especially against the rules of Saudi society.
My role in this, to promote this sport, is extremely important, especially that there's such a taboo behind the idea of a woman being a boxer or a kickboxer. I get a lot of interesting questions sent at me, like people thinking that, if I'm a woman and I'm in combat sports or I'm practicing it, that I must have had something happen to me as a child, that I went through a very difficult time as a child. And it's a very sad thing to realize that not a lot of people accept the fact that I'm a woman in combat sports or teaching combat sports.
Girls are banned from playing sports in Saudi public schools, but at the beginning of the year, authorities announced they would allow sports clubs for women, making official what was already happening discreetly here. At the end of their boxing session, these women head back to the realities of Saudi society. For the 70% of Saudis who are under 30, among the harshest realities is the lack of entertainment. The government tried to address the issue a few months ago. It organized concerts. But when it announced it wanted to open cinemas, the religious authorities lashed out and forced them to back down. Places to have fun, like the Jeddah Comedy Club featuring pop music and stand-up comedy, are rare.
Three, two, one, go. يوه أنا روعة وأنا مرة روعة بس ماني عارفة إيش أسوي اتخرجت من حكمة ولا اسمها دار حكمة
I didn't imagine this was possible. I'm very happy and captivated. I'm surprised to find girls here because I thought there would only be boys.
3 or 4 years ago, we could not imagine that kind of thing. Today, I came with my girlfriends to have a good time.
It's a nice feeling. The club's spirit is personified by its founder, Yasser Bakr. But he knows all too well some jokes are not allowed.
This community is a community that is very passionate about many things, about nationalism, about religion, about explicit content, plus 18 content as we call it. So this community is very passionate about all of that. And we've rightfully decided to censor ourselves and not to go there.
Stages are off limits to women in Saudi Arabia for now.
A woman on stage. I am totally not against it, but we currently only have male cast and male comedians. I think it's a day that is coming very soon. Personally, I'm not the one to judge that. It's a government call more than anything else. Personally, I think that the community is getting very close to being comfortable with a woman or female on stage.
That evening, a red line was quietly crossed. These women dared to sit in the men's section as there was not enough room in the space reserved for them. Since last year, the Mukawa, the infamous religious police, has been ordered to loosen its grip. Families can now sit closer to each other in public parks, for example. In another telltale sign of changing times, women are taking some liberty with the head-to-toe traditional garb. One evening, while filming an outdoor restaurant where young women and men are mingling, security guards stop us and order us to hand over our footage. After long negotiations, we managed to leave. In April, Saudi Arabia's election to the UN Women's Rights Commission prompted an international outcry. This happened just as the Saudi government proudly announced the creation of a girls' council entirely made up of men. Meanwhile, a drama was unfolding for one young Saudi woman. On April 10th, 24-year-old Dina Ali Lasloum was arrested at the request of Saudi authorities during a stopover in the Philippines on her way to Australia to seek asylum. When her uncles came to pick her up, she posted a video on social media calling for help.
If my family come, they will kill me. If I go back to Saudi Arabia, I will be dead.
In the end, she was forcibly repatriated, and she now reportedly lives in a women's shelter. Still, that video went viral. When she saw it, Ala, a young activist, went straight to Jeddah airport to figure out what happened to Dina. She was arrested and spent 7 days in jail.
Thankfully, I'm from an open-minded family, and I don't have this issue in my life, but there are so many stories around me, and so I'm sick actually from these sad stories.
Allah is part of a new wave of activists using social media to spread the word. And Saudis are among the most connected users in the world. Instead of getting behind the wheel and finishing behind bars like older activists, they challenged the driving ban by filming themselves walking in traffic.
For me, I see myself as a first-class citizen, but dealing with things like all the things here, dealing with it, I'm a second-degree citizen.
The guardianship system is another major barrier to progress, obliging women to ask permission to travel, study abroad, or get married.
The guardian can stop a girl from working, can stop her from education, and there are no strict rules to stop those people from this foggy action. We need those rules to stop guardians from doing this barbaric actions.
Last summer, a report by the NGO Human Rights Watch called on Riyadh to fulfill the pledge it made to the UN to end guardianship. In this clip, a surgeon mother must ask her teenage son for permission to travel. For Saudi authorities, these criticisms are based in Western bias.
There is no tutelage over women. She is free to manage her money. She is free to choose her studies. She is free to work where she feels well. Nobody will forbid that. So it's not true to say that somebody is imposing bans on women.
But the Wahhabi regime is not totally immune to pressure. In early May, a royal decree confirmed that women no longer need guardians to work or have surgery. And even among those close to the ruling elite, this situation is being challenged. So Maya Jabarti is the first female editor of a newspaper, an authorized voice in a country where the press is firmly controlled.
If we can be treated as equals professionally, then it should be the case personally. It's very contradictory that here at work, I'm held accountable as like all my peers in terms of a budget, in terms of hiring, firing. You're responsible. I'm responsible just like any other editor, and I'm held accountable for it. And then should I walk out the door, I am reduced to a minor's legal status. It doesn't make sense to me. It's teeters on the edge of schizophrenia. So I am the same person here and here. So I just expect to be treated as such.
In another possible step forward, there is a growing debate to grant women the right to drive. 2 royal princes have recently expressed their support for such a move.
We have about 6 million drivers. I think roughly that figure. We want them to go home and let our women do their business. It's an issue that all the world, women in everywhere, is driving, and no country announced that they will ban it. So we are not exceptional to the world. We will join them, but it's a matter of society getting used to seeing women driving, that's all.
Breaking these taboos would be a strong signal to the religious establishment, to the world, and especially to the Saudi youth. But in a volatile geopolitical context, there is no guarantee if or when the Wahhabi kingdom will decide it's time for change.
Thank you for watching this edition. See it again, of course, on our website, france24.com. This is Reporters on France 24. Stay with us.